You need a claim form. That's one form everyone must have. You also need some type of declaration. If you have an injury claim, you're going to fill out the declaration of exposure. That's any category between 1 and 27. If you have a property claim, either as residential or business, you're going to need the declaration of real property. Or if you have a business interruption claim, you've lost money, you're going to need the business interruption claim form. So at the very minimum, keep this in mind, you need a claim form and you need one declaration for each category that you believe you fall into. So let's look at declaration of exposure. This is literally the form. You're filling it out. My name is, enter your name below. I am making this declaration on behalf of, if you're doing it for yourself, write in myself. If you're doing it for your child, write in your child's name. If you're doing it for the estate of someone who's passed and you're the personal representative, write, estate of and the person's name. And then the third question is the claimant listed above, and it'll give you options: an adult, a minor, an incapacitated individual, or I believe an estate. Question 4, current address. Super easy, should be pre-populated. The only thing you need to check is it still correct? If you've moved, or if the person you're doing it on behalf of has moved, you need to update this. Now, this is the declaration of exposure. This is for categories 1 through 27. They want to know where you live and who owns it or leases it and what their relationship is. So if you're filling it out on behalf of yourself and you lease it or you own it, you put your name, and it's the same. If you're filling this out on behalf of your child and you own or lease the property, you put your name and their relationship. What is your relationship to the claimant? What is your relationship to the minor? So if I were filling this out, I would put my home address. I own my home, and relationship is same. If I'm filling it out on behalf of my child, I'm going to put the current address of my child, how long they've resided there. The residence is owned by, I put Leslie Kroger, and relationship to claimant, I would put parent. Right? So they want to know where's child living? Where's baby living? Who are they living with? Next page, Beth. All right, where else have I lived? If I'm filling it out on myself, these are all the other places that I've lived other than my current address. And again, they also want to know, all right, when did you live there? Who's it owned or leased by? What is their relationship to the claimant? So if my child and I lived somewhere else in 2015, I'm going to put that address. I'm going to put that I leased it, and my relationship to the claimant is, again, parent. Keep going, Beth. Okay, question 5 on the declaration of exposure. Was I also exposed at work? Was my child, did my child attend school or daycare? Or where else was I or my child or whomever I'm filling this out on behalf of exposed? All the addresses. If it's a business, school, or daycare, fill that out. They want to know why. Why was your child exposed there? My child attended school there. My child attended daycare there. Very simple explanation, but it will help to ensure that every place of exposure is covered. Next page. And the last portion of the declaration of exposure, they're trying to narrow in on the categories. This will help them. So question 6 is, was there exposure between April of 2014 and July 2016? Yes, if there was. If there wasn't, if you came in, you moved into Flint after July 31st, 2016, or your child was born after July 31st, 2016, then that would be a no, and you'd go to question 7. And then it would be a yes. Was there exposure between August 1, 2016 and November 16, 2020? So for the most part, most people were exposed between April 2014 and July 2016. And so you check yes on number 6. But if you weren't, or the person you're helping assist fill this out wasn't, then you go to question 7 and see if you qualify between that 4-year period with a yes. Number 8 is only for category 27, which is Legionnaires. Question number 8 only is for people who were diagnosed or passed away with the diagnosis of Legionnaires. And that is the end of the declaration of exposure. Okay, let's keep going. All right, the next one, if you're in category 28 or 29, real property. This is what the form looks like. This is how it starts. Again, the same, my name is, you put your name in. What property are we talking about? Now remember, if you lived at 3 different places and you leased 3 different places, or you paid water bills during 3 different places, you're going to want to fill out a declaration of real property for each one of those locations, because you have a claim for each one of those. So the first property, the relevant property or business address is, put it there. Next page, Beth. Number 4. This is if you're a residential owner, or you leased, you've rented, you put down your name, and then they want to know, well, what's your claim to this? Did you own it, or did you lease it, or something else? So if you leased it, you put, I leased it. I rented the apartment. I rented the home. What was your percentage of ownership or interest in the property? If you're the only one who's leasing it, then you put 100% leased and with the address. Now, if you're leasing, go to the next page, Beth, and we may toggle back and forth between these. They will also want to know, well, who owned it? So if you're leasing, you fill out, you indicate that you leased 100%, you're the only one on the lease. The next question, they want to know, well, who owned it? So if you know, if it's an apartment building and you only dealt with a management company, put as much information down as you can. So name of the owner, and if you're not sure, if more than one person owned it, all you can do is fill out what you know, right? If you know that you rented it from one person, then put that person's name. As far as you know, they're the owner. As far as you know, they're the only owner. That's 100%. And because they're trying to capture ownership and who lived there. So back up, Beth, back up one page. Now, if you owned it and the deed is in your name and your spouse's name, you own 50%. So you want to fill out this first section with your name, that you owned it. You owned 50% of it. You put the address down. And then next page, Beth. Then you're going to put your spouse's name, their owner, their 50%, and the address and all the information. So remember, they're trying to look at, and you want to assist them giving as much information as you can to make sure this goes through without any hiccups, and they're asking you for additional information. What's your right to the property, and who else might have a right to the property? So if you owned it, if you're 100% owner, then you just fill out the first section. I owned it 100%, boom, done. If you're not, then you need to fill out the additional information. Okay. Next step. Keep going. I think you're going there. Did we skip on the declaration? The business. Back up. Let's see. So question 5, I'll just kind of run through it. Got it here in front of me. On the declaration for real property owner, renter, and business. Question 5 is, if you are a business, own a business property. It's basically the same questions, but you want to make sure that you go to the right section. So if you own your own home, or you're leasing an apartment, or you're leasing a townhouse, or whatever it is, you're going to answer question number 4 on the declaration of real property. If you own a business property, you're going to answer question 5 with the same thing. Who's the owner? What's your interest? You're the owner. What's your percentage of interest in the business or real property? If you own it with someone, you go to the next section, you fill that out. Okay. Business interruption, Beth? All right, they all kind of start the same. So my name is, put in your name, you're doing this declaration on your own behalf. They want to know what is the property or the business address that's subject of your claim that you're saying your business is interrupted. If it is a business name, number 3, you put in the name of the business. Next page. All right, and here's, they really want to know what you lost. So if you're making a claim for business property damage or economic loss, describe how your property or business was damaged. They want some details. People stop coming to my business, you know, and it could be think of something ludicrous. I sold Flint water out of the tap. No one's going to come to your business, right? So your business completely shut down. So you need to give information about how your business was damaged. Provide the amount of your claim damages and how you determine that. It could be that I lost all clientele and my business had to shut down. Or you could say, you know, my profits went down by X number or X percentage, because they're asking you for tax filings to show a business interruption claim. They want 2 years prior to the loss, the year of the loss, and 1 year after the loss. So if you do not have your business tax filings, you need to get those quickly, because that is very important. It's required for the business interruption claim. All right, Beth.